Inspirado, Projecto. What's been happening with you? Haven't heard you around here, and I got not much to do. Inspirado, Projecto. What's been happening for you? Haven't heard much from you lately. You doing anything new?
It is now 7:15. We're standing outside of the, I'm not sure what is this? Fox 10 News, Arizona. It's now 7:15 a.m. We're going to be going in here. We're going to be dressing up, playing a couple of songs live on the air.
Yeah, there was a lot of traffic before we get
Let's see. Let me look at the Instagram post. I'll find out the exact. Of course, by the time you hear this, you won't be able to hear this in real time.
I mean, I'm not like trying to be a dick.
However,
I was shocked. We had no traffic.
let's see.
That's
Let's see. Fox 10, KSAZ TV.
Yeah, we made
We're going to be at 9:30 a.m. So people will be able to stream it at fox10phoenix.com live. So that's pretty cool. Maybe they'll save the performance. Maybe it'll be somewhere. We've got Baba Booey here, Sailor Hawkins. We've got Starbird, Matthew McDonald, JoJo Music, Tommy Booey, Street Dog, Pauly Shores, Philly Booey, Philly Ocean. We're all here. Ready to load in. I'm glancing out there into the streets. There's a group of people just running. Little kids even. They're holding a flag. Yeah, it says here Fox 10 Extra. Channel 45, Cable 9. Fox 10 Phoenix. We shall see. Paulie's over there taking some video. It's going to be a good one. We shall see what happens. I shall talk to you more later. Perhaps I'll even record us in the studio. So, stay tuned to Inspirado Projecto. Thank you so very much, Condensation Podcast, for that extraordinary theme song at the beginning. Thank you so much. By the way, what you just heard there concerning the Fox 10 Phoenix portion right there, that was actually recorded. This is going to be a sort of a time travel episode. We're going to hop around a little bit here. That was recorded January 13th, 2023, when we were out in Phoenix. We were playing for the Marquee Theater. And later on, you'll hear an interview with the Fawkeses that was taken that night after the Marquee Theater, the 13th, that night. So I met up with Foxy Lady and Desert Fox from Cannabis Conundrum Podcast and Awesome Sauce Radio. By the way, we're going to hear a really interesting voice message from Foxy Lady of Awesome Sauce Radio. But right now, so that Fox 10 Phoenix, Yachtly Crew was on there. We played at the Marquee Theater, and I think I told you. In fact, I might close out the show with Mickey Dolenz now that I think about it. This little piece that you hear on this of Mickey Dolenz talking, I met him years ago. The Monkees had played. It was him and Peter Tork. Oh, no. Yeah, two different occasions. out there at the Marquee Theater. This is right before Yachtly Cruise started, and kind of right in the beginning stages of when Yachtly Cruise started. I'd seen Peter Tork and Mickey Dolenz on stage there one time, and I met Mickey Dolenz backstage, and this is when I had my radio show, Inspirado Projecto, on 1630 AM K-Chung, 1630 AM, Chinatown, Los Angeles, which, by the way, this is foreshadowing. I will be starting that back up again. I will let you know when that will be. So I told Mickey, I said, hey, guess what? I am the first radio station. This was when his album, when the Monkees album came out, and the song, You Bring the Summer, da 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 da. Oh, you bring the summer. It was written by Andy Partridge from XTC, which I thought was really cool. And then the song Me and Magdalena, that's one that Mickey and Mike Nesmith sing, and that was written by Ben Gibbard of Death Cab for Cutie. So I was playing You Bring the Summer. I was playing that on the radio during that time. And so I went up to him after the thing, and I said, hey, Mickey, guess what? I got a radio show, and I'm the first show to play your song on there. And I said, by the way, would you mind doing a promo for the show? He goes, yeah, sure. So that's what you hear when you hear Mickey Dolenz talking. I got that there. And it was interesting because at that time I was visualizing what would that be like for Yachtly Crew to be up on that stage. Wouldn't you know, one day Yachtly Crew's up on that stage. I love these kinds of synchronicities. Aren't they the best? All right, let's see what Man Behind the Machine has to say here. Thank you again, Condensation, for opening up Inspirado Projecto.
I don't know if you saw this, but it was some kind of video on Instagram posted from TikTok about some Russian kid who thinks that he was from Mars. It's a really bizarre story. I guess these scientists have been studying this kid. He says he came from Mars to Earth. They're worried we're going to destroy each other, which is interesting because we had that episode on Galactic Federation, and this has been a sentiment expressed through people who are UFO and alien researchers who say that the aliens are worried that we're going to destroy each other as mankind. So that's why they haven't made an appearance. They want to make an appearance soon because they're afraid we're going to destroy each other. Yeah, it's some kid from Russia who thinks he's from Mars. Do you remember that?
Thank you, Man Behind the Machine. Folks, you got to listen to Man Behind the Machine podcast. He dives deep into AI stuff, and in the spirit of the Russian kid who claims to be from Mars, I primed ChatGPT. I really primed it. I got to prime it, kind of give it information to kind of like let it realize you kind of got to, it's like being a therapist of sorts. I really massaged its brain. Okay, so I asked it, I said, so by the way, that Russian kid's name is Boriska Kiprianovich. This is what I put. I said, what are 5 claims Boriska Kiprianovich made about Martian technology? Can you write them in a playfully hypnotic rhyme scheme, please? And this is what ChatGPT wrote. I think you might like this. I like it. This is really fun. Come on now. Sure, here are 5 claims that Boriska Kiprianovich made about Martian technology in a playful rhyme scheme. 1. Martian crystals, they can do the trick. Hold them close, your mind they'll quicken and slick. Unlocking knowledge from ancient time, accessing secrets of otherworldly kind. 2. Martian pyramids, not just from Earth, on the red planet too, with great worth. Holding secrets beyond our understanding, in them lies the key to true expanding. 3. Martian portals, not for the faint, lead to other worlds without constraint. Enter them with caution and good intent, and explore the cosmos with your mental ascent. 4. Martian spaceships faster than light, traversing space in the blink of an eye, with technology beyond our comprehension. They hold the secrets to space-time dimension. 5. Martian beings, a wise and ancient race with knowledge and power to traverse time and space, communicating with telepathy and thought. They offer wisdom and guidance that can't be bought. Isn't that phenomenal? I love that this stuff is possible. I've been so addicted going down the rabbit hole, just asking all kinds of stuff of ChatGPT. At some point, I'll tell you what it told me about my fictional self, the books that he wrote, and the albums that he created. I feel that ChatGPT is actually showing me versions of my parallel self who has actually done stuff out there. That's a theory to think about. What are your thoughts? Thanks, Man Behind the Machine. And basically, if you want to leave a voice message for me, just like Man Behind the Machine podcast did, you can go to anchor.fm/Inspirado Projecto. That's the name of the podcast you're listening to right now. Anchor.fm/Inspirado Projecto. Leave a voice message and we'll see what happens. I'll finagle you onto an episode.
Hey, my friend, check it out. I have a granddaughter that will be 2 in February, and she thinks you have a hit on your hands. She loves it. She's rocking out to it right now. She really digs it. I had to play it like 7 times. She sat there and shook her booty and tried to sing it. And yeah, I'm afraid you have a hit on your hands, my friend. I don't know what you're going to have to do with this kind of fandom, but I think, wow. I just wanted to let you know there's a fan. There's a big fan in my house.
Undies Funded Records and Radio. That was the original label I meant to say. That is who left that wonderful song for us. Undies Funded Records and Radio. Check out that podcast. Undies Funded Records and Radio. That's who left that. Now, as for this voice message, that was Foxy Lady from Awesome Sauce Radio. And the song she's referring to is a theme song I made for Marie Humphreys. Two things. We're going to have a segment that I had taken. Remember at the beginning of the show, you heard me at Fox 10 Phoenix? That was for the show at the Marquee Theater that night. After that, I hung out with Desert Fox and Foxy Lady. I'm going to put that up later in this program. This is like a variety show of sorts. This is a vaudevillian act. Also within this episode, I'm going to put a piece of an interview that I had with Christo Roppolo March 25th, 2022. All right, that's coming up. So, Maria Humphreys, who I'm mentioning right now, Maria Humphreys, I did a theme song for her. And Foxy Lady was playing for her granddaughter the theme song that I made. So that really warms my heart. That really, really warms my heart. I love hearing that. Thank you for sharing that, Foxy Lady. By the way, check out Awesome Sauce Radio podcast. Also, Cannabis Conundrum. I love these folks. We're gonna get a chance to meet up with them later on, talk with them. Next up, we have here this artist, Andrei Bogoslavsky. He's someone that I met on TikTok, and I plan on doing an interview with. And so, let's hear what he has to say.
Hey, buddy. This is Andrei Bogoslavsky. I don't know where to press to follow you. I clicked star. I'm not sure if it worked. Let me know if you get this message. See if I'm following you. And I also want to promote your page on all my social media. inviting people for the podcast that will be coming up, getting them warmed up.
Thank you, Andrei Bogoslavsky. Andrei Bogoslavsky. Thank you for calling in. Your art is phenomenal. Your art is phenomenal. I'm going to spell out his name here. You got to go check out his art, and it will lead you to his TikTok. I'll put all these people that I've described right now are going into the description of this podcast. So if you're listening to this on one of those devices where you can actually see the descriptions, also I'm going to put hyperlinks. And on some websites, you can actually click on the hyperlink. It'll lead to their website. So no matter what, I'm going to put the their website. Ideally, you can copy and paste, in your web browser. His name is Andrei, Andrey Bogoslavsky, Bogoslowsky, Bogo Slow Sky. Interesting. Slow Sky. That's a neat title for a song or something, isn't it? Yes, we will do a podcast. Now, coming up next is Christo Roppolo. This is recorded March 25th, 2022. At the Golden State Theater. This is one piece of an interview that I had with him at the Golden State Theater, and he had a camera guy there. There are two documentaries out about this man, Christo Roppolo. One called The Curse of the Man Who Sees UFOs, and then there's one that's just on Vimeo, I believe, called The Man Who Sees UFOs. And now they're putting together the third one, which I don't know what that's going to be called. The UFOs Who See the Man. Curse of the UFOs Who See the Man. They're like, oh, it's him again. Like, what? We're way out here, way out in the middle of nowhere. What? Oh, there he is. What the heck? What's he doing out here? So you'll be able to hear some of his thoughts and ideas about the various stars he's seen in the sky. So without further ado, here we have Christo Roppolo. You're listening to Inspirado Projecto, by the way. Well, I mean, that must have been very interesting to be this pioneer who's gone out there receiving all this footage, who's having this kind of communication.
Yeah. And then the UFO community
and then all
goes,
of a sudden, that's such a weird thing to me, the fact that they would cut you off like that. I would think that you'd be like a prime person to have up on stage.
I lit him up after he came here and, disappeared after the next day. We were supposed to meet and compare footage, but it didn't happen. So I sent him an email and, I was like, if you want to play King of the Hill with Stephen Greer and stuff, go ahead. But,
That's interesting you brought up Stephen Greer. So, okay, he's got what he calls the CE5 protocol where he can call in the UFOs.
Which is good,
you have
that's
your own
meditation. Yeah.
Your own thing.
Yeah.
Have you met Stephen Greer or anything, or what are your thoughts with him?
I've seen him, yeah.
But you haven't talked to him personally?
No, I didn't feel it would be appropriate. It was at a premiere of one of his movies. I was down in Hollywood, and his movie was premiering or whatever. I saw him briefly, and I just didn't think it's appropriate because that is kind of like, it's all the vibration from the books and, all of the appearances and what have you. And I kind of thrive on the engine of, I'm a field researcher, and I'm out in the bushes. I'm not in an office or anything doing books or using
you're in the mud.
Third and second
you're out
part,
there crawling around.
Yeah, and not relying on documents that are redacted, and I just can't do that stuff. And the whole drive, the engine, strangely enough, that got me so serious about doing it that way, is in fact MOFON, because when I had that big triangle sighting that's in the movie, I sent them documentation, witness statements, what position we were in, where the stars were, everything. Biden was there campaigning for Obama that night, right? And when they blew me off, 7 months I waited for them to give me a response, because I'm like, this for sure, they're not going to blow anybody off.
Right,
I mean, look, come on. And they blew it completely off, and then the footage of the actual event, at first, we offloaded it from the guy's phone who filmed it onto one of his customers' phone who turned out to be a sheriff, right? And the guy put it on his site claiming that he had filmed it.
No way.
And it had gotten 7,000 views.
What?
Before we caught him doing it. And then he finally let us have our own footage back so we could put it in the movie.
Oh my gosh.
And people wonder why I'm not trustworthy.
It makes sense.
Right?
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, because it's such a sensitive situation that you've built up all this time getting to know
That's right.
the vast amount of star family that we have out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you were telling me when we talked on the phone the other day, you were telling me that there's a whole series of these different UFO shapes, and you know exactly what that is or what this is.
Yeah.
Or
There are.
can you tell what star systems they're from?
No, I'm not an astronomer. As far as my familiarity with them and what I recognize to be a UFO and how I know it's them or not is from just being out there and trial and error experience. At first I was just like anybody else. I'd go out there and I'd try to find them, and I just didn't realize that that's not how it's done. They basically open up to you, and when they do that, it's a lot of responsibility. And some people just push it away. They do not want anything to do with it. And they're, the orbs especially are pretty respectful of that. I don't know how it is with abductees and what have you, and the Greys, 'cause that's just not my thing. I haven't.
So that has never happened to you before.
Never had any encounters with Greys, but I have had experiences with craft and entities that I couldn't identify. They were humanoid.
Interesting. There are all kinds of. Oh, they were humanoid-like.
Yeah, but not physical in the sense that you think they are. They had arms and legs, and they were coming out of really big lit corridors and stuff. And they physically can manipulate particles to the point like you could be standing on your deck, and your deck would just vanish, and they would be right there in front of you. Something like you would see in a science fiction movie or something, like literally something just opening up in a space that you thought was a three-dimensional area in front of you, and you find out real quickly that what you're seeing and what you're used to perceiving as dimensionality, period, is a platitude that you your brain has gotten used to that. And when they open up those doors and they show you that it's all transparent, it's, there's just different layers of this stuff. And, they can move between these layers. And I tell people that's why you don't see a bunch of aliens running around buck naked on Mars. They're probably in another dimension. So,
Plus, I hear that they can vibrate at a higher frequency.
Yeah.
When there's that happening, we can't see that.
No. And just even their ships, if they vibrate at a higher frequency rate than our eyes are normally used to perceiving light, they'll look invisible. You can't even see them at all. So, yeah, they could be right next to you.
So do you, when you go out to look for them, do you get a feeling, some kind of feeling in you, like something's telling you, like, okay, now is the night that you're going to go out, and here's where you're going to go?
Yeah, no, it doesn't say here's where you're going to go, but it just, I'm drawn. They know I'm just this little dude. So they're going to look for me in like places that we've already had past communications in. And that's what I'll do. I'll go to certain places. I have places that I'm kind of like, it's like my spots. And some of them are top secret and some of them aren't. And that's where I go and I signal. And, if they're around, then they see me, they'll definitely show themselves. So.
That's incredible. So you were making music based on the music that you make in there.
And turn it into a spectral, and then you can play.
What is that? What is that?
wave.
Explain that.
It's an algorithm, and you can play it at different frequencies, at different speeds. So it's like a low frequency oscillator. The faster you play it, the higher the pitch goes until it becomes an actual tone, a note, right? So something that would just be a modulator can go from a modulator to a pitch generator.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Where did you first get that inspiration to do that?
That's
I'm a
brilliant. Sound designer.
Oh.
Right, I have all that knowledge I had going in, and that was just a random idea I came up with, which that theory played out for about 6 months, but I kind of have decided that that's not really, they may have thought that was interesting, I was doing that, but I've kind of learned that it was more than just me playing sounds made from their pictures. That
What else did you discover?
well, I just found out that they're pretty much present all the time, and it's
So they're
really-
aware of this conversation.
Yeah, most likely.
I love it.
Yeah, and especially when I go and dance with them, they'll get all that information anyway. And they show me that when the orbs are merging and stuff and they're entangling, it's the same thing. It's a symbolism, for our connection as well.
So how many songs would you say that you've created so far
With that,
from those pictures? Yeah.
hundreds.
Do you have a place to find that people can hear this? Bandcamp or
That
SoundCloud
music- A lot of that music is on Bandcamp.
Oh,
And
good.
It would be Christo Music, which is my first name, the way it's spelled, and then Muzik. And there's Christo Music 1, 2, and 3. But those are the albums that had the majority of the sounds that I would make out of their pictures.
It's
And it's not just like space music or anything either. Some of those sounds are just transient FM waves that make good bass sounds and stuff, It's no just spacey sounds kind of thing.
Because I'm sure that anyone who listens to that music, it's activating something in there.
Yep, it activated something in me. I went and crapped on a golf course, so that's pretty good right there for a start,
Yeah.
That's a drum roll and a cymbal crash right there.
So this was this idea that came to me when you were talking about having the the lie detector test. I was thinking that would be interesting too if
They
maybe
have
you
a
had.
facial one too that I want to do, which is even
That's good.
more intense.
Looking for the
yeah,
micro
and on that
expressions.
note, they did do that with a lot of the Roswell people, and
Oh.
about 75% of all the witnesses passed with flying colors. Like the guy that was
Incredible.
saying they switched out the wreckage for some kind of all
Yeah.
those
Oh, it was a
all
weather
those
balloon, right.
people, 100% telling the truth.
Incredible. I was thinking about this
And
additional
they had to walk
thing.
around with the burden of being disbelieved for 30 or 40 years of their lives.
And
Can you
and
imagine
then after that, there's no redemptive quality. There's no one going, "I'm so sorry I treated you
Some
that
of
way."
them became
it's like
alcoholics, and because just from being treated like an idiot for even mentioning it, But anyway, so
gosh, man. Well, I was thinking it'd be so cool if during that, if maybe you had, because there are all kinds of different clairvoyants.
Yeah.
There's the ones who can sense things, who can see things, who can, every single kind of sense. It'd be awesome too, if they were in the room to see what kind of vibe
for
came
doing
to
this,
them as
too.
well.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what images this person sees, what this person feels, what this person hears as they're listening to describe this stuff.
Right.
So it'd be neat too to see where those Venn diagrams.
Yeah,
Because
well, people
imagine
tell
while
me
you're
that they've
describing
listened to
something-
these things, and have gone out into the field and done their own research and had good results. And whenever somebody tells me that, it makes me feel good because I don't want to be like, I hate using the other researchers as examples, so I won't. But I don't want to be one of these guys who stands up on a soapbox and, follow me, I'm the Messiah UFO
Right,
guy.
right.
I just am
Well, you
one
totally
of the
don't come
people.
off that way.
Oh, good. Thanks.
You're just an authentic person who's after the truth.
Only
and-
one of many who can do this, and that it's not decided by me. It's decided by the extraterrestrials, and I think the orbs are pretty much as high a level of whatever it is that I'm communicating with, because the saucers and all of that stuff really feels like man stuff. When something's flying around and you have to get inside of it,
Yeah.
that's man stuff. That's humanoid. And extraterrestrial, the word means us from the future. It doesn't mean little
Incredible.
green man.
Which has
Right.
been, channeled through many different spiritualists about
And
the fact that they're
alien
just our future
is
selves.
is a whatever, right? But extraterrestrials are us from the future.
So how interesting is that? Those are your future selves.
Yeah. Well, look at the
Communicating with
J-Rod story. When they had one of the beings from the crash wreck at Area 51 for a long time until he escaped in a jump gate. The Project Looking Glass. It's a real
You know what?
thing.
I met Dr. Roger Lear at a secret UFO meeting many
Listen,
years
that's
ago.
a real
He talked about Yellow Book.
project.
He talked about the Looking Glass. He said there's quite a few of these Looking Glasses, right?
Yeah, well, there's natural ones too, and the UFOs come through them every time I watch them. That's why I told you we have pictures of the vortex opening on camera visually. You can photograph it, and it's like It's very much like what you would think it looks like, the actual corridor. But when you see, like, if you can imagine, like, seeing that grill there on the wall,
Yeah.
just collapsing, right?
Yeah.
And becoming an opening in a door, and literally all of the webbing of it is pulling in, so it's really like almost like an acid. Like when you take mushrooms and like if you were looking at wood panel and it's just kind of like looks like a waterfall or something. It's the same deal. When this vortex opens, everything starts stretching and bending however they want it to.
Incredible.
And you figure if it's a million years ahead and that's where their technology is, they're going to know how to manipulate particles and photons and gravity, which gravity is the least thing for them to worry about. Because if you're using that cube and the sphere, the significance of it is that they're using the same energy, fusion, that the sun is using. Fusion is pretty much the cleanest. It's not clean energy, pure clean energy, or in the sense that like Stephen Greer, them are talking about it. There is a byproduct, which is a hydrogen molecule, which is like vapor, kind of like water. And the deuterium, this is what the scientist was trying to explain to everybody on that last podcast they did, comes out of all water molecules. So those two hydrogen molecules are what they're using to fuel their ships and to move around.
Incredible.
Yeah, and the fact that they need any kind of a resource means that it's a thing that's grounded in reality. I mean, just like our bodies, Chris was explaining to scientists, we have to eat to move. They have to do the same thing. They need stuff. They need the energy to move.
Gosh.
Real
Now, have you
simple
seen any of the UFOs that come from the sky and go into the water?
Yeah. Lots of times I've seen them come out of the water too, the sphere specifically, but when they come out of the water, that's and the deuterium thing that we're talking about is suggested strongly in that footage that the pilots filmed, because the Tic Tac was hovering over the ocean and it was boiling.
The water was boiling?
Yeah, it was like a tumultuous, raging pool right below the Tic Tac when they first saw it, and it was zigzagging around over the top of this crazy water. So evaporation is one of the processes that you use for fusion. Okay, fusion can be, it can happen in a lot of different ways, but fusion can happen by evaporation. So, and it does happen in fission that way. So,
gosh, it's incredible.
Yeah, you learn all this shit when you're a fucking stoner that sees UFOs.
I just think it's fantastic that you just keep diving deeper and deeper into it, and they just keep, they're like, okay, you're going to keep diving in?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to keep showing you
Well,
more.
they try to do as much as they possibly could to stop me from doing it, and here I am, I'm back. You can't stop Mo, right? I just keep coming. Hit me again, I stand right back up.
So how often do you go out there? How often?
Pretty much 3 or 4 times a week. I have thousands and thousands of hours of footage of them, very close. And people think like on this one show, we showed him a frame that's very specific because it's part of the scientific research, so it was part of their evidence. And people are like, well, that's only one frame. Scientist is sitting right here. He's right here. But it's more fun to take swipes at somebody than it is to get your questions answered by somebody who knows the answer.
Yeah, you can tell the difference between when someone is just trying to knock you down rather than trying to understand more about what's going on with it,
Yeah. It was a little off-putting when that happened because it was like some of the first questions. And I just try to be zen about it. Because Chris, there's the spiritual part of UFOs too, and Chris is just pure science. If you let him, he would expound on the nonsense of spirituality, and he's a pure scientist, and that's why I chose him, and why the government chose him to do the government MOFON research. Those were the top 10%, the confirmed ones that the guy presented on that show.
So that guy, what does he think of? I mean, especially since he's
verified all my footage.
He goes deep. So he himself has verified it.
Yeah,
and that was
he's
the guy
part of the
talking
team that documented the whole. That they took the footage, They processed, they did the whole computer analysis, and then they did an actual scientific paper.
So he's the guy who took away all the artifacts and stuff and tried to like really.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, and yet still
I put myself up against the fire. No Stephen Greer, no Tom DeLonge with the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
A real scientist who really did that stuff and knows bullshit from reality.
So did you? So in that interview with the other scientists who just only kind of want to just knock you down, or make it sound like they should throw you in an insane asylum, was there a point where you go, okay, guys, when are you going to ask me the real science questions here?
Yeah.
Like, look, I got the stuff.
There was
you
at
guys
that point,
are the scientists.
but as a good UFO researcher, I've gotten used to the idea that if it goes that far, it's best to just kind of walk away from it, to take a time out. So that's what I try to do. I just kind of shifted gears into world crisis, because there's a lot of people in Ukraine getting their asses kicked right now. And, I think people should be really aware of that, because if we're ever going to have serious communication worldwide with UFOs, then their perception of us is going to have to be a lot better than us killing each other and shooting at hospitals that are full of babies that haven't been born, and shooting at nuclear reactors that can destroy the whole world, and letting some crazy guy that rides around on polar bears have anything to do with getting the keys to nuclear armament. A guy that rides on polar bears. That's real. He really does that.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I'm like, oh man, I guess his balls are pretty big, huh?
Wow.
That polar bear's not biting him, so, whatever.
Well, that's one of the things is that it's been said is that once we're in that, more of an agreeable position of opening our arms, going, oh yeah, come on in, we're ready to learn more about you, then they will show themselves. But until then,
you can't ascend into a higher state of consciousness unless you calm down. Mm-hmm. That's the only way you can. Like I said, when you're daydreaming, that's like the most natural high. That's when you're really feeling like yourself, and you're just in there, and your thoughts and all that stuff. That's the real meditation. So daydream more. It's good for you.
Yeah, it's my favorite
teacher
thing to
goes,
do.
use daydreaming again, the math equations, and I'm like, easy. It's good for me.
Yeah, I mean, Einstein daydreamed. Nikolai Tesla. All
Einstein
these
daydreamed,
geniuses.
sure did. He'd walk around in the snow in his bare feet with a martini, dry martinis. That was his thing.
Incredible.
Yeah, his wife had a rough life, boy.
It's funny because people really want to be able to know of the modern day, Tesla or the modern day Einstein
characters,
but they can't seem to actually recognize it when it's right there in front of them.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? It's like they have to wait a certain amount of time, and then they go, "Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, that Van Gogh stuff was pretty good." It's like, why do you have to be dead in order for you to verify this, you jerks? So I think at least now in this day and age, with the way that information goes around, I like to believe that those Van Goghs are like the time span between when that guy was just the starving artist and when his painting started selling for $6 million, that type of thing is I think the gap is closing. So I think you will be more and more recognized for what it is.
Well, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, whatever my path is meant to be in this whole thing, I'm just staying focused. I put one foot in front of me and then the other, and I take one step at a time. And I don't have any expectations. I'm not looking for any kind. If somebody says, let's do a show, the premise with that show would be reality. It has to be real. Those guys at Paranormal Caught on Camera took a big chance with me. And that turned out to be the most popular episode of their entire whole thing.
Wow.
Right?
Wowzers. Wowzers. That was quite a mind bender, wasn't it? And as I previously stated, that was recorded March 25th, 2022. I have uploaded this on a different episode, and on that other episode I had Martin Schmidt. Martin Schmidt created a miniature version of the Golden State Theater. Look up Martin Schmidt, SCHMIDT. I'll link those in this episode. How about that? I'll link all this stuff in the description. So that was Christo Roppolo. Quite a mind expander, wouldn't you say? Oh my gosh. Quite a mind expander. Look at that. Is that nuts? Just to think that that's like... These people exist, okay? These people are out there. They're doing the investigations. If you ever needed to talk to someone about UFOs, don't talk to the government. They're the last people you talk to. Talk to the people who have been abducted, who have had personal contacts, people who are constantly, in contact with them, even while they sleep when they have astral travel. Which, by the way, I think I'm going to get Lisa Bowman back on here again. While I'm at it, I'll link her episode in this show description as well. Why not? I'll link it all. I'm on a roll here, folks. Yesterday, I put up 2 podcasts. It's just so much information to get out there, All right, so you know what? I'm going to play something for you here. This is Maria Humphreys, actually, who I created the theme song for that we previously heard Foxy Lady from Awesome Sauce Radio podcast talking about earlier in the program. Are you still with us? Please, by the way, feel free to share this. We're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, Pandora, TuneIn, iHeart. We're all over the place. Anywhere that a podcast is, that's where we are at. So get the word out there to your friends and your family. I now have 110 dedicated people who are listening who have actually downloaded this episode. It blows my mind. Like they're saying, okay, this is an episode. This is a podcast that I'm going to favorite. I'm going to keep my eyes open for. So thank you for that. And by the way, if you want to contribute, call the hotline 561-203-9179. Call up the hotline and I'll leave your message on here. How about that? All right, let's listen to what Maria Humphreys has to say.
Ooh, I forgot to tell you that I added a little bit of live Yachtly crew from the Canyon Club from your show a couple of weeks ago. I added it to the tail end of the Weed in Amsterdam episode, just so you know. You know how I am. I love mixing it all up, so I put some Yachtly crew in there with the galactic weed mix. What kind of brew am I concocting today?
It is always a joy, exemplary astonishment to have such a fun, playful spirit as Maria Humphreys from Strong Body, Strong Soul podcast. That's another one, baby. That's going right into the description, going right down in there, right down into that there reservoir. That's the watering hole. Hello, this is William Burroughs. Wait, sometimes I can get a really good William Burroughs. Wait. I'm William Burroughs. I am known as the godfather of the beat poetry. I hung out... Wait, see, now we're getting a little bit of Orson Welles going in there. William Burroughs. I was friends with Allen Ginsberg and Jack Kerouac. That's right, William Burroughs, my buddy. Yum, out there camping, out there on the grounds, feet to the ground. Take off the shoes, throw the socks over there. Bing bang, bing bong. Oops, stepped on a rock over there. Hey, it's a stone. It's the home. I'm alone. Away from the world, yet in the world. Staring at the palm tree as it sways. Like a sweet hot number. Dancing along to Charlie Parker. That's right, I was there. Jack, I was there. How come you never call me by my Christian name? It's John. Okay, John Kerouac. That's right. You know how to pronounce my name. Thank you. Oobaloop boop up beep up. I'm William Burroughs, and I approve this message. I need to do a little more work on that one. Just a trinket of work. All right, guess what we got next? We have here our good friends, the Fawkeses. And no, it is not lost on me, the trifecta of the situation. We were on Fox in the morning, then we come across the Fawkeses. See, one is broadcasting one kind of information, the other is broadcasting another kind of information. How fun is that? How fun is that? It's a pure analogy right there. Wonderful assessment, might I say. So Maria Humphreys, check her out. Strong Body, Strong Soul. She does meditations. She's a dynamo out there on the social networks. That's right. One would think she has a clone. Allen Ginsberg, remember Howl? He's like, lost in the night. Wait. I don't even know how the poem goes, but he's like, in a world, this is where the gumdrop sleeps. Yes, wistfully, wonderfully, absolutely nothingness. Have I seen better times? A world where people are enjoying themselves. No pollution. I think I've heard that poem before. I think I wrote that down last night in my journal. Alan, have you been reading my journal again? I would not say I have. However, I like the poems on page 43. Alan, doggone it, you have gotten into my diary stash. You cracked into my diary stash, Alan. Okay, hold on over here. There's no reason to get crazy. Cookie crazy, ali ookie, dookie nookie. You don't want to start nuke 'em. Don't nuke 'em. Nookie, baby. Dancing on a wire. The time is flowing. Just like bamboo in the night. It's growing. So there you have it. Get ready for the Fawkeses.
Hi, this is the Sock Monkey Guy, and you're listening to Inspirado Projecto.
So how long did you work for James Buffett?
18 months.
Yeah, how did you even come across him?
I'm a chef by trade, and
Come closer, babe.
I fit a profile,
To the window.
I guess.
You fit a profile. What
Hide
kind
in
of
the
profile
window,
are you
so-
fitting?
So Jimmy Buffett has a song called Cheeseburger in Paradise, and the Outback Corporation made a restaurant based on that song.
Oh. So there's Margaritaville and a Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I got to help make the menu for Cheeseburger in Paradise.
So the menu that's at that place is thanks to you and your team for creating it.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I like mine with lettuce and tomatoes. Heinz 57 and
So you
French
did it based
fried
on the
potatoes.
song. Brilliant.
Big kosher pickle and an old ice cold beer. Good God Almighty, which way do I steer for mine? Cheeseburger in Paradise.
I love it. Is he a pretty cool guy?
And one of my favorite
I think
stories.
so.
One of my favorite stories is when we opened, we had. It was estimated we were going to do 160,000 a week.
The word is
Hey, that's quite a carburetor.
It was estimated we were going to get $160,000 a week, like income, our first month, right? The first day, we did $250,000.
Oh, dude.
By the end of the first week, half the cooks have quit because we're talking about.
What, like all night long? They're doing this all night long?
You're there for 16 hours a day.
Oh my, just making cheeseburgers.
Just making fucking
In
cheeseburgers
paradise.
and fries.
Yeah,
And
paradise to someone.
and by the start of the third week, most of the cooks, no issues with it, but most of the cooks were
Why couldn't they
Mexicans.
like switch out people or something?
Because nobody
working these
wanted that
people
job.
so hard?
Nobody wanted that job.
No one wanted
So
that many
a bunch
hours.
of Mexicans stepped in.
Why were they?
And this is what's cool though, because week 4, he came for 3 days and did shows. We were proximity. We could house an outdoor concert, and we did. He did 3 shows back to back to back at the fucking during the day at the place and at night at a big venue. And fucking the parrot heads came from all around. So we all had different colored shirts, right? Cheeseburger in Paradise working in the kitchen. And this dude walked down with a Sharpie, writing on everybody's backs.
Who?
Jimmy Buffett.
He's writing Sharpies on people's
He
faces.
thought these people are all here for me, you know? They
So
all
he
knew
was
who
getting
I
everybody
am.
an autograph?
And these people that hardly speak any English are like, who the fuck is this old white dude?
And he's giving them all these autographs on the back of their shirts. Oh my God.
In
they had no
retrospect,
idea.
I wanted to collect everybody's shirts and give them brand new ones.
Oh my God.
Sorry
I love
about
it.
that.
Oh
Sell
my
them
God.
on eBay.
Sorry about that. Oh my God.
Hindsight, right?
You're right.
2020.
Oh my God.
But
Also, I'm on eBay.
these people, it was a weird job in the fact that we were in the back of the house. Like, none of the customers could hear us. And they were still, like, they had their cult type shit. Salt, where's the goddamn salt?
Oh.
That was the way the bar said it. And I'm like, okay. And 8 or 9 of the songs had these little chants. And,
Interesting.
And I'm like, that's Jimmy Buffett, I guess. I've heard that song.
Wow.
God damn it, that song again.
Margaritaville.
Wow.
You know, after 18 months, I was
Incredible.
beat to death with Jimmy Buffett.
Beat to death. I love it.
But yeah,
In the car-
I
in
used
the
to work.
car,
I used to work for Jimmy
explains-
Buffett.
Yes.
I've had
Yeah.
when
Oh my God,
when I
that's
got
funny.
to shake his
I was
hand.
beat to death.
When I got to shake his hand for the first time, it was like shaking a dead fish.
That's bad news.
It was sweaty and limp.
Oh no.
It was like shaking a dead fish.
no.
And I said that out loud to other people,
Are
and
you
they were like,
serious?
that's what it was. It was like everybody agreed it was like
That's
shaking a
what it
dead
was?
fish.
Oh no.
And that became the thing.
Everybody agreed it.
Nobody would say it out loud, but I was like, his handshake's
Have
kind
you
of
met
like
him?
shaking a dead fish.
It's funny because Phil met him outside at the. We're playing a private show at the Breakers out in Florida, and there's so many synchronicities concerning that. But we were playing at the Breakers at a private party. And we were in the green room, and Philly, the singer, happened to be out happened to be in the hallway. He was wearing his suit. He was talking to his wife, and this guy was walking past him. He's like, "Oh, hi." It was Jimmy Buffett. He didn't realize it was Jimmy Buffett till the man like walked past him and went in the elevator and left. He goes, "I think it was Jimmy Buffett," and he came running into us, and he's like, "I just saw Jimmy Buffett in the hallway." And then we immediately sent a message to our manager. The manager sent a message to their people, and it turns out that Jimmy had already sent a message to his manager to send to our people to say, "I just saw one of your guys out in the hallway," because there's been talks about us possibly working with Jimmy Buffett since around the quarantine era. That Jimmy might want to sign us to his record label, and who knows, maybe we'll go on tour with him. That would be like a perfect. That would be a perfect bunch of people, right? The Parrot Heads.
Amazing.
Because they're so
The
loving.
Parrot Heads at a yacht rock band.
Oh.
Holy crap, that's a freaking trifecta.
Oh, I know.
Oh my God, I'm so
I
excited.
know.
I'm so excited.
I can't believe it. So now we're signed with Mailboat Records, which is Jimmy Buffett's record label. And so we have like 4 or 5. They want us to do like, well, we're going to put Sex on the Beach on there, but then also, I think 4 cover songs.
Of Jimmy Buffett?
Of our stuff, or not our stuff, like Ride Like the Wind, Steal Away, Lido. I forgot what the other one is.
It's probably not
Did I
that
say
one,
Ride
but
Like
it
the
makes
Wind?
sense.
No, Sail Away has to be there.
It would
Sail Away,
make sense.
Sail Away should be there.
It should be there. I mean, it's a
Where's
freaking
your-
yacht
where's your
theme.
I forgot the other.
In the arm
I forgot
concert.
the other one is. But it's gonna be like an EP, and I'm not sure really when it's coming out.
Are you
We've been in the
you're
studio.
gonna put your own music on there too, right?
Like what? Like original music?
Your new song and whatever else you guys brainstorm.
Oh yeah.
magnificent-
Sex on the Beach is gonna be on there.
Your
Oh, yeah.
magnificent
The new one.
brains.
Thank you.
I have so
came
much
the
respect for
very
you. You don't
first
have no
show.
idea.
Thank you.
I came to
Thank
the very
you.
first show. We came to our first experience with Yacht Crew. I mean, first and foremost, it's still my favorite show because
my
we
God.
really didn't get to see last year, and
Yeah, I was in a bad headspace.
that one, the first one, they did. I mean, Regulators. I was like,
yeah.
oh
yeah.
my fucking goodness!
Oh, yeah.
Because I had been listening to yacht rock, you know, and that was like a oh shit. And then they did Foo Fighters too because that dude passed away.
You
and
were here for that.
we were
Yeah.
here for
Yeah.
that.
Oh my God,
you
that
guys-
was
But
here.
we
This
got-
is the only night we
So
ever did
here's
that
my
song.
Yeah,
here's
we were
my
here.
here's
Only
my
night
come
ever.
around.
You were
Here's
here
my
for it.
full circle.
Dude.
You're a cover band on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
You don't cover just one band. You cover all of the great one-hit wonders of all of the past years, and that's freaking amazing.
That's true. That's
People
true.
love it.
It's fun. What were you saying? I love how everybody connects.
I do too.
So fun.
It's amazing to be a part of.
Has the recording begun? Should I
It has, it
dare
has.
to ask that question?
You're doing a
Recording has
second song?
begun. Oh no! Well, I mean, just for the
the
EP.
writing.
For the
Oh,
EP.
the EP.
The writing or the
So
recording?
it's all
Just the
recording. We have some writing sessions. I have so many ideas for melodies. I have so many ideas for songs.
I bet you do.
So I'm just gonna like that's where I like melodies come to me like so crazy, and so when we get together next time, I'm gonna work with them on okay, getting some of these other songs out there because I just realized I gotta help them move all the rest of that stuff out there. But I'll also text you and let you know where our actual hotel is. It's the Courtyard
It's the same one you're always at, ain't
Hilton. This one is a different one. Courtyard Hilton.
Tempe?
it? Oh,
Maybe.
we were there with Eric.
It's cool because the outside
There's like a
there's like a
Hilton
pool
and
and there's an outdoor area in the back, so you can hang out there.
Is it close to Cubs Stadium?
I don't know. There's a Cubs Stadium out here?
Their practice stadium. For
Yeah, well, they have their summer
spring
league.
training.
Well, listen.
And it's like Cubs City.
Oh.
And it's like a Wrigley Marriott Hilton.
Oh.
There's literally
find
both
out.
hotels connected.
There are
Literally.
there are two hotels. There's a Courtyard and then like
Hilton.
right across the way there's another hotel. It's like two hotels. That might be the one you're talking about.
Probably.
That might be the one.
Do you have like a view
The
of like
Wrigley
water
Field.
and different light things and just like a walkway and a bunch of like little those credit card scooters that you can like drive around?
Huh. I know there's like a pool back there. All this open area, so we could totally hang out there.
I feel like that's
But I'll
the
find
same
out
place
what that-
Eric was at.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. I'm so glad we got to see you.
I'm so glad I got
I'm
to
in
see
a
you
better
all.
headspace this time, so I feel
was- it
better
was so
about being here.
I'm so glad I got a chance to see you all again. And so what I'll do is I'll text you to let you know as I'm walking. I'll find out what the address is and everything. So that way we can hang out even after this. because they're open area out there, no problem. It's like, no, it's different than the other place. Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Are you
I don't know how far
like
Tucson
6
is.
a.m. Tucson's an hour and a half. Maybe. If you drive like I do, it's 45 minutes.
We gotta load in like 2
It's a couple hours away.
If you drive like I do, it's 45 minutes.
Huh. Maybe we'll leave it like maybe 1 or something like that. Oh, thank you. We might leave it like 1. I'm thinking. Possibly. I have to find out from those guys.
I'm excited. I want to apologize again for the last time you guys were here. All the shit that went down, I didn't blame you guys for it. I was just in a dark spot.
Yeah, I'm just glad we had
passed away, and it was his birthday. You guys were playing on, and I was like, "Fuck, this is not cool for me," because I was having a stress moment.
That makes sense.
And then all that other shit happened. I was like, "Fuck, I should have just went to bed."
That's a heavy thing. The fact that
I should have just went to bed.
it's a heavy thing that your brother had passed. It's never an easy.
He was my best friend for my entire life.
Because
we were only 2 years apart. He was older than me.
Oh my God.
We wrecked so many bicycles together, me and my brother.
A lot of jumps.
Oh my God. No, riding double, doing wheelies and shit. We wrecked so many bikes together.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
It was a rough day.
Did a lot of jumping, a lot of ramps and
a lot
stuff.
of crashing.
Oh, I love that.
We would crash to the ground. He'd be going, ow, and I'd just start cracking up because his response to crashing was so funny.
I love that.
I couldn't help it. I would just laugh at him. I could hardly walk when I got up because that freaking hurt. But he's like, "You're insane." I'm like, "No, you drive crazy."
I love that you two got along so well.
No, he was my best friend.
I am not absolutely certain. I like to say less than half an hour, but I don't know.
That's good. Half an hour, 45 minutes, hour, whatever. That's good.
I gotta help him get that stuff out there. So
Definitely.
It was good seeing you guys. I'll text you. Let you know where the place is.
We will be here waiting for you.
Thank you. Okay, you guys.
No,
I'll text you, let you know. Thank you.
Oh my God, thank you for my shirt.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming out. So that was Foxy Lady. Desert Fox. Check out their podcasts. Awesome Sauce Radio and Cannabis Conundrum. Just great people. And you know what? Very well spoken. They care a lot about positivity, getting good vibes out there. All that razzmatazz. I gotta go into the I figure why not? I'll try the front door. Are we gonna try the front door? It's just so crazy that I saw Mickey Dolenz play here. I also saw Mickey Dolenz and Peter Tork. Mike Nesmith play here because Peter Tork had a family emergency. He was touring with Mickey, and they're touring as the Monkees. But Peter Tork had a family emergency, and so Mike Nesmith came out and started playing. Wow, wonderful people at these shows. Whoops. Yeah. First of all, thank you so much, Sock Monkey guy Martin Schmidt, for popping in and saying hello. You must have heard us talking about you. Your ears must have been ringing. He is indeed the master of sock monkeys and putting together an extraordinary miniature version of the Golden State Theater, which was sitting there in the lobby in this encased, dare I say, almost like an aquarium But man, if you take a look at this, a lot of this stuff is just hand created, glued in there. He's adding lights. He's going to put it back in there. It's a project. He helped renovate the entire place. Anyway, thank you so much, Martin Schmidt, for hopping in and saying hello. And now, I also got to just thank the fun, expansive content that we have heard from the Fawkeses. As I've said, I'm going to put their podcasts into the description. Awesome Sauce Radio and Cannabis Conundrum. Martin Schmidt, I'm going to put his YouTube channel down there in the description. So just take a look at the descriptions. I'm going to be a lot more thorough. If you've ever seen Big Lebowski, you know, Julianne Moore's character, she's like, he's very thorough. He's very thorough. Jeffrey, why haven't you gone to see my doctor, Jeffrey?
Well, I haven't had time, man.
He's very thorough. Jeffrey, he's very thorough. So, how fun was that? The Fawkeses. You never know who's going to pop in on these things. You just never know, do you? Do you? I mean, really, do you? Man Behind the Machine has another message here for us. Let's sit back and check it out real quick before we close out the hour with Mickey Dolenz. That audio I promised to you. Thank you, Mickey, for you're so fine. Thank you so much for a childhood idol of mine to add your blessing to this podcast. Thank you so much for listening to Inspirado Projecto. And you're probably wondering to yourself, is CEC going to have, is he going to have an opinion? Is he going to have to say something to what Man Behind the Machine has to say next? He might. We'll have to see what the subject is. All right, take care. Oh, and before we go, what were your thoughts about some of the things we discussed with the Fawkeses? Are you a creativity machine? Are you a person who enjoys unpacking ideas? Are you out there on the tractor? I imagine, I mean, this audience goes far and wide. Are you on a tractor right now listening to this with your you got a, I still have my dad's old ones from 1970s. I think he said he got them in Taiwan. Corded headphones around your ears, like you see those air traffic controllers. Just around the ears, like Mickey Mouse, you know, boom. Those kinds of. Maybe you're listening to the podcast while you're driving your tractor, while you're mowing the lawn, while you're putting roofing on a building. Is this blasting out of an old boom box? Have you got a Bluetooth speaker that you're playing this on? How are you listening to this podcast? I know that these words are going out to your ears and you're listening to them and you're considering them. I see the numbers. It's skyrocketing daily. Thank you for listening and for considering Inspirado Projecto as something to listen to. Thank you for that. The Fawkeses. Have you noticed some of the similarities that we were discussing, some of the topics we were discussing with the Fawkeses? Have you met Jimmy Buffett? Have you had an interesting cosmic encounter? Yachtly Crew, after all, is now on Mailboat Records. It's so crazy for Jimmy Buffett or James Buffet, as I like to call him. All kinds of fun names. But I'm putting out the vibe that ideally, this is the dream. We are going to tour with him, tour the Caribbean, and it's just going to be so much fun, a natural fit. So let's listen to what Man Behind the Machine has to say.
Hey, bro. Watching the original Lost in Space. Do you remember this with Will Robinson, black and white? the original Lost in Space, 50s and 60s. Do you remember this?
John, must be just ahead. Let's take a look. All right. Well, you stay back here. Halt. Don't be afraid, Will. Just keep calm. I am. You see, these alien creatures may be very...
Yes, indeed, mon frere. Indeed. I do remember Lost in Space. I remember watching it. I am fascinated with seeing practical effects used on shows. I'm always blown away when I find out that like some effect was used long ago where they, you know, like whenever you find out that they paint things onto a glass and then they shine that glass in front of the people in the background, and that was the way that they were able to, you know, make it look like, let's say for instance, remember on the Death Star when Luke and Leia are swinging across that deep, you see the deep chasm there with the stormtroopers chasing them, and that is always, I mean, that would pop up quite frequently in my dreams, that big chasm. Whoo! The fear of falling into that chasm. Remember when Luke goes and he falls and he flies through and he's dangling from the edge in Empire Strikes Back? Oh my God. Dangling from the edge in Empire Strikes Back. Will they save Luke? Oh my gosh. It's interesting because for some reason I remembered it as being a cliffhanger, but I also do remember seeing the Millennium Falcon fly up and kind of hover there and kind of bring him down off the antenna. Wow. But Lost in Space, I love the practical effects. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
Hi, it's Mickey Dolenz here. You're listening to Inspirado Projecto.
All right, I got a special treat. Some people left already, but for those of you who are sticking around, just like Andy Kaufman, we have a special treat. Phil Donlan, my buddy I went to Glenbard North High School with, I was in my first play with, he is going to close out the show. But before that, I'm going to present to you a song by the band Wishing to Float. Do not let anybody know this, okay? This is the only time I'm going to admit this to you right now. Now remember this. This is a side project between me and my buddy, Wishing to Float. It's on Spotify, iTunes, all over the place. TikTok, Instagram, it's everywhere. So, yes. This is called I'm Honestly Not Trying to Chase You. So, yeah, for your ears only. Thanks for listening to Inspirado Projecto.
All year, I've walked behind you, I've stayed near. My breast's been tickling your ear. You've been thinking of your face. Run as you will, you'll get tired of this.
Hey everybody, this is Phil Donlin, movie star. You might know me from my screen debut, 1979's CBS TV movie of the week, Death Car on the Freeway, starring Peter Graves, Dinah Shore, and my good buddy, George Hamilton. You know, it's funny, we were on set. He said to me, you know, you're about as handsome as Charles Durning. Anywho, you're listening to my favorite thing that flies through the airwaves, Inspirado, Projecto.